Jesus spoke to his disciples, "There will be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars, and on the earth distress among nations, confused by the roaring of the sea and the waves. People will faint from fear and foreboding of what is coming upon the world, for the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Now when these things begin to take place, stand up and raise your heads, because your redemption is drawing near. Be on guard, so that your hearts are not weighed down with dissipation and drunkenness and the worries of this life, and that day catch you unexpectedly like a trap. For it will come upon all who live on the face of the whole earth. Be alert at all times, praying that you may have the strength to escape all these things that will take place, and to stand before the Son of Man." This is the gospel of the Lord. This weekend, I continue in the message series that I started 2 weekends ago. Of course, last weekend we had Father Richard Fregamini for our Advent Parish mission, and he got back to Chicago safely, and he wanted me to thank everyone for the amazing opportunity to journey with us. And so we continue in this series as we enter into Advent. My words will never pass away, and this comes from the gospel a couple of weekends ago, investing our lives in what lasts forever. And I think that's important for us to focus in on what endures and who endures. So in the first homily, the focus was this: in the end, we must change our priorities to place what never fades away first in our lives. One of the constants in our lives, probably the only constant, is change. And we need to change our priorities as sometimes things get mixed up and busy in our lives, that sometimes we forget Christ, who never fades away, and other things get involved and we lose focus. And so the call for us is to reorganize our lives. And of course, Advent is a beautiful season to do that. I want to focus in on this homily today. Advent is a season to reset, renew, and change with vigilance, prayer, and enthusiasm towards Christ. We're changing for what? Not for change's sake, but we change, we experience conversion, we reset to go towards Christ and his love. Does anyone have a computer? Anyone have a smartphone? They're not perfect, by the way. You realize that? Every so often you need to reset them, shut your phone off, turn them back on, because things get messed up. And this is the best advice from Hello IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Oftentimes that actually works and fixes computers, because they end up slowing down with the complexity of the software and the hardware. Things over time get out of sync. And so often the first thing the IT department asks is, did you turn it off and did you turn it on again? Because the reset puts everything back in order. And Advent is this chance for us to reset from the messiness and busy and challenging parts of our lives, to refocus our energies and our efforts on Christ as we celebrate Christmas, but also prepare for his return. And are we going to be ready? Are we going to be welcoming? Will we be happy to experience that joy? And will we help one another reset and prepare for the gift of Christmas and the gift of Christ? Even in the gospel we just heard, there's concern that Jesus offers to the apostles and to us. Be on guard so that your hearts are not weighed down with dissipation and drunkenness and the worries of this life, and that they catch you unexpectedly like a trap. Are we ready? Are our hearts ready? our lives ready for the coming of Jesus to take us home? Or have we fallen asleep, like some of you may during this homily, and slowly doze off and not be ready and not be focused and not be reset? Pope Francis said this in 2021, be careful because we can become sleepy Christians. And we know there are many Christians who are asleep, who are anesthetized by spiritual worldliness, that we can, as Christians, fall asleep by getting lulled into Black Friday and Cyber Monday, or in the frenzy of the shopping season, and kind of drift away from what becomes most important. Christians without spiritual fervor, without intensity in prayer, without enthusiasm for mission, without passion for the gospel, those are people who have fallen asleep, kind of just going through the motions. And we can become like that if we're not attentive, if we're not focused, and if we kind of review our habits and make sure that our prayer life, our sacramental life, our awareness of the goal, which is to journey together to the kingdom of heaven, becomes so important. That's why Advent and the themes during the Advent season help us reset on Christ. The themes of hope, Jesus is our only hope. Peace, Christ shows us how to live in peace through forgiveness and reconciliation. Joy, the joy that lasts forever, is Christ who is risen, Christ who is alive, and Christ who comes to us in this Eucharistic celebration. And then, of course, love. Christmas does lead us and prepares us for Easter, for the crucifixion, as Jesus lays down his life out of love for us. Not only do we celebrate that, but we're called to try to live that each and every day. We heard in the gospel, then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Now, when these things begin to take place, stand up and raise your heads, because your redemption is drawing near. What does Advent invite us to? This call that what lasts forever? In the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the struggles, in the midst of the storms of our lives, we don't have to fear. Jesus says, stand up and raise your heads, because the Lord is coming, but also our goal is the kingdom of heaven, and we bring others along this pilgrimage, being pilgrims of hope, as the Jubilee year will start at Christmas time, and Father Richard talked about it in his mission, to march together towards heaven, which lasts forever, which never fades away. But we can tap into that grace, into that love, if we fully dive into this Advent season and peel away those things that we have and the things that we do that only last for a moment, only last for today. We have upcoming in January the closing Mass for St. Agnes Parish. We talk about raising our heads, gazing to the heavens. We talk about change. Nothing lasts forever but the Lord's words and his presence. St. Agnes is making the ultimate change and sacrifice for our family of parishes, but we too, all the other churches in our family of parishes, also needs to make sacrifices as St. Agnes parishioners join in the other 4 churches. And not only join, but participate and help lead the 4 churches. So that means the other 4 churches, for now, because we know there's more closures down the road, will also need to change. Change the way things are done, not get caught up because that's the way we've always done it. We change for Christ, and when change happens, opportunities happen. Even in the midst of the closure, one of the things that has really been an immense grace is that when I went to all the different ministries at St. Agnes, all the different leaders, and asked them the question, will you want to continue to do your ministry in one of the 4 other churches? They did not complain. They did not protest. They said, we want to continue to serve in our family of parishes, and all the ministries have found new homes. Not for themselves, but to help all of us along the journey. Change gives opportunities. Change also means pain, means sacrifice, but that is how we move forward, marching through Advent, marching to Christmas, and for us here in Chatham, being on mission to proclaim the good news. We have our last listening circle event today on Sunday in the afternoon, 1:30 to 3:30. Our Indigenous Committee, we've been listening to a series of 4 speakers talking about and getting to know our Indigenous brothers and sisters. Why? So that we can all change. Isn't a better understanding and an appreciation of our Indigenous neighbors, and that we can build friendships. And whenever we encounter another person, we are changed, and hopefully we bless each other. And there's going to be more events, but all the things that we're doing in our family parishes is an opportunity to reset, to renew, and to change. We had our Advent parish mission with Father Richard Fragamini, who reminded us is that our hope in Christ is bigger than any fear. And if you want powerful change, we have confessions during the season of Advent, but in particular, our communal penance service, where we'll have 14 priests. Priests you don't know, priests that live on the other end of the deanery, that you can go to confession to. That's change in our hearts. So how can we, and as I conclude, I got 4 ways that we can change during this Advent season to reset, to renew, to be able to move forward in our own lives, but also as a family of parishes. Here they are. The first one, spend time in dedicated prayer, silence, and reflection. There's lots of apps and prayers you can access online that you can use at home, but just pause. Stop from the chaos, even your worries, and just let the Lord speak to our hearts. Secondly, go to confession, a powerful way to reset and change. If you need immediate change, a change in direction, a change of course, if you're weighed down by the worries of your past, go to the sacrament of reconciliation. It's all about love, it's all about freedom, and it changes us so that we can be better. Third, serve needs beyond me. Take a look at the outreach ministries in our family parishes or in the community. Go beyond yourself, because it's not all about me. It's about how we become instruments of God's grace to offer hope, joy, light, peace in this world. And finally, look at change as an opportunity. Change is a good thing. Change helps us do things better. Change helps us integrate and work together more. And when we go through change, or another word for us in the church words is conversion, helps us become Christ for one another. And in that way, we transform the world. So Advent is a season to reset, renew, and change with vigilance, prayer, and enthusiasm towards Christ. We focus on Jesus, who said, "My words will never pass away." Let us invest this Advent for conversion, for renewal, for change.